Just like my man Emotep did in the Mummy series, the Trial and Aaron podcast returns! Let's go! And instead of bringing vengeance and the army of Anubis to this world, I am bringing you this guy. We share a last name. Our dads, our brothers, our moms, our aunts, not the insects. It is none other than my cousin, Travis Geerts. He is a long driver. That means he puts the golf ball on the tee and he smacks the shit out of it a country mile. He gives us really good insight on what it's like at those long drive competitions and on golf in general and in sports in general. We get into a really good conversation. He's very well traveled and he's here to tell these stories, his life stories, his perspective on life, and hopefully it can influence your perspective on life and experiences in general. So without further ado, let us, not the vegetable, begin! Better than Silver Tate, I'd say. Hold on, why? Better than a cunt's tainting? I'm sorry. We're yelling so I could see these god awful audio levels. For some reason, they're all. Hold on.
Taint.
I know. Wow.
He forgot to turn it on again.
No, it's on. So what happened was.
You lose.
So now that we're recording, Travie.
Well, you see.
So there's an on switch, and then there's it's called a phantom power switch. So these microphones do not use batteries. So with these audio cables, it sends some electricity through the asshole that kind of makes them work a little bit. And then they're like, okay, I'll listen to what you got to say. Because that's your one purpose in life, C1 Behringer. But now that it's on, I see some audio levels. We can begin this
Let's get ready to rumble.
We're in the lunchbox. We here. I'm excited. Travis Geerts, TG. Sir, usually I have people introduce themselves, but it, I wanted to introduce you. How are you today, sir?
Doing well. It's Monday. We're just kicking back, relaxing, hanging out in the lunchbox.
The lunchbox. Your mustache is looking absolutely thick, filthy. Dare I say, the best mustache in the family. I don't have the consistency. I just have peach fuzz, and then I end up shaving in shame. But that thing, it's full.
It's full.
I have the flavor saver underneath the bottom lip, and then the full under chin patch. That's the one thing I feel like I kind of have, but compared to that facial hair, I'm shaking my head. That's what it is. Not even close. Not even close. How is it? How is that facial hair?
It's taken a long time coming. We're working on 28 years without shaving.
Yeah.
And it's
that's
finally got here.
Where it's just perfectly groomed from mustache to goatee, nothing else on the cheeks.
Cheeks does not exist.
It's only the chin flavor saver mustache combo.
Absolutely. It's the only place hair grows.
Have you ever done handlebar down to the sides?
I'm thinking it's going to come in right about holiday season.
Holiday season?
Yeah, right for family Thanksgiving. Just go straight handlebar.
Get real weird, like some Gardner Minshew. Minshew. How cultured am I to not know this American treasure?
Yeah, Minshew mania. It's happening.
I'm about it. Is it bigger than Linsanity, would you say?
Not even close.
It's not as big. I heard he bed last week.
Yeah, they did, it happens.
It's NFL football. I mean, come on.
The thing what Linsanity did is that was kind of where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big one, and it lasted, 3 weeks, and he went from somebody nobody's ever even heard of to even now. All these years later, we're still talking about it. They're showing his highlights in China.
What captivated it? Why was that such a big deal? Because were the Knicks so obscure and he played so well that it highlighted him? I mean, I can't recall the stats off the top of my head, but why was it Linsanity? What made it so crazy, must see sports?
I think what it comes down to is New York is the mecca of the sports world.
Yes, it is.
Same thing with the media world. It blows up.
It blows.
You are either loved or hated in New York. Some athletes thrive in that, and other athletes can't get out of that situation fast enough, which is why, like, the Yankees, they're very particular with who they bring in because you have to be able to handle the New York media. New York Knicks, probably worldwide, probably one of the most famous sports franchises because they play in Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows who the Knickerbockers are. Well, even if they don't like
watch
basketball.
your mouth. It's 2019. Can't say Knickerbockers. Or can you?
Or can you? So I think they were so bad and so irrelevant that the New York media was looking for anything they could to make the Knicks relevant again.
I need a hero. But so Jeremy Lin gave that to them.
They gave it to them because they weren't selling tickets, they weren't winning games, and all of a sudden, this guy comes along that nobody's ever heard of, who went to Harvard.
He went to Harvard?
He went to Harvard.
Oh.
Why
am I not surprised?
And then all of a sudden, the Knicks are back in the media. They're back being relevant.
I wasn't planning on talking about this direction I want to take this conversation. It has nothing to do with the questions I wrote down because I wanted this to be golf-esque, golf-oriented. But I wanted to get into the sports psychology now that I think of it. What propelled this nobody, I use with finger quotes, talking about an NBA professional athlete. What do you think, what flipped that switch to propel him to have these amazing games for, a certain amount of time? He was on a heater. But you have the Steph Currys, you have these Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, all these people that just go on fire, but they maintain consistency. Yeah, they'll have games, but that's more surprising than if somebody goes off for a great game. What is it I don't know. What is it about human nature that somebody could just turn on? And think if he was like a gladiator back in the day. Oh, Jeremy Lin was in some 2-on-2 fights. He didn't get any kills, and then now he's just this unstoppable battle axe guy that could just kill anybody that stands in front of him.
I think it comes back down to that
athlete's psychology.
Basic human nature of fight versus flight. Mm-hmm. That mentality kicks in on the basketball court, on the football field, that hating to lose more than you like to win.
Because losing is death.
Yeah, and when you have that burning desire inside of you to not lose, and that is what fuels you and fires you to be the best that you can be.
Right.
Is that not necessarily maybe a fear of failure, but just that pure hatred of losing. And that switch flips when you just get on a roll and you hate losing and you're hot. You're just going to ride it and just go with it because you know what that feeling. Jeremy Lin knew what that feeling of losing was like for so long. They were losing nonstop that season. Right. And then he got hot and realized we can stop feeling this way.
This feels good. This winning thing. These dubs. W's.
These W's that, everybody's chasing, whether it be in sports or in life. We're all trying to win something.
That's a great subject you brought up, or a point that you relate that back to our primal instincts. Take football. Take any sports. Losing, you die. You win, you bring home the hunt. You bring home whatever you went out and foraged back to the home crowd, your home team, right? It's you win, you survive, you keep going. You lose, that's against your livelihood. There's no postseason. Your season's dead, essentially.
Losing it, you equate it back to the early American frontier days.
Yeah.
It's not like you went out and you had, 25 shotgun shells. You may have one shot. You might see one rabbit that entire day.
And 2 pine cones to throw.
And if you miss, you're not eating.
Nope. You just have to have sex with the pine cones. I mean, eat the pine cones.
Eat the pine cones.
Yeah.
It's a little crunchy.
I've never done that. Crunchy indeed. All right, so we're going to shift it because I had some questions. I wrote them down before this. I was watching, Daniel Jones, I saw a funny post on Barstool that it was before Daniel Jones actually turned up, and I love the fact that he's actually performing better than people give him credit for. He looks like he was cast to play Eli Manning in Eli Manning's
absolutely
autobiography movie. Or
it 100% could happen, and that it kind of just tied back into that New York thing. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis booed, turned out to be great for the Knicks, and then obviously they traded him to the Mavericks, but he was booed on draft night. Daniel Jones booed. Everybody's questioning management. What are they doing? His second preseason game, all of a sudden, he's the savior of New York. Yeah. And it's just
we've always loved. Wait, why are New York? Because I have a question about New York Yankees fans and Dodgers fans about how we need to hunt them down and kill them all. What is it about these New York fans that makes them so entitled? Like, is it all the wins from the Yankees? They're used to success, whatever. Patrick Ewing never got a ring. Why are these people so entitled to cheer for these players one day and then then one play, then the very next say Aaron Judge hits a grand slam and then he misses a fly ball the next inning, they're booing him or something like that. I wouldn't put it past them to boo. It's like, as Kings fans, we're used to being tortured for so long. Giants fans used to being tortured for so long, or A's. It's like you don't boo them because they're f***ing up. It's like, yeah, you're upset, but at the same time, you got to stick by your team. Why do you think New Yorkers feel like they're entitled to just victories and tremendous gameplay day in and day out?
Wow.
My initial reaction is that's just East Coast in general is a very old money, entitled, goes along with the stock market. Look at it this way, if some guy the stock market's up one day, all of New York's happy. The next day, that stock goes down, and they're ready to throw bricks through windows, blaming their financial advisor.
Golden bricks.
Like it's just the culture is over there.
Culture, yes.
It is, you are expected perfection. You are expected to win. You are expected to be elite. That level of expectation is what makes the Yankees who they are. Is like, this is the expectation. Like, this was the first decade that the Yankees weren't in the World Series in, I don't know the exact thing, but I think it's somewhere close to 60 years, 6 decades, 7 decades.
Of them all, like, being in there
at least once in a decade, the Yankees won the World Series.
When did Jeter retire?
He retired in 2014.
Hey, Freak Show!
Good question. Yeah, it's recently, but he was still playing within the time period of them.
Yeah, it was
not
the very
making
end.
it.
Let's see here. Got this magical device in my pocket that can look that up.
What's that? What's that you're typing on?
It's futuristic. You have no idea.
Oh my God, does it have all the world's knowledge?
Pretty darn close.
You ask it a question, it'll answer you.
It won't tell me about Area 51, but
Ooh.
2014.
Good call, dude.
So
yeah, Travis.
Derek Jeter was,
That's some points for
that
you.
Yankees was, for almost half the decade, but yeah, first decade without the Yankees in the World Series in a very long time. So
I like that.
You
know why?
You're gonna start pissing off a lot of fans when you're not getting there because let's
I'm
be
glad.
honest, it's expensive. It's expensive to be a New York.
Oh my God!
It's
Okay.
expensive to be a New York Yankees fan.
Now you're gonna get me on all these rants, but first I'm gonna talk about why the Yankees. All right, you're by little, I mean very much entitled. Oh, we have 27 championships. I don't give a f***. We can lose this time. Guess what? I guarantee you over half of those championships were in a time where black people weren't allowed to play. Go f*** yourself. That was the last time the Cubs won a World Series, was before integrated league play of letting not only African Americans but Japanese, perhaps Dominicans or Venezuelans or any other nationality other than white cake able to play baseball. So I just got to say, yes, your Joe DiMaggio's, your Yogi Berra's, all your Babe Ruths, tremendous legendary players, but we don't know how well they would have matched up against Cullen.
It would have been interesting. I mean, that's some of the
That's a
greatest.
hot take.
That's some of the greatest debates that you can have in the sports world. Is like, how would those players have matched up against some of the great players that weren't allowed to play in the major leagues at that time? That's some of the pitching and batting that you would want to see. Like, oh, if we go back in time, what kind of matchups could we have created?
Absolutely.
Who would have won? Would these stats be the same? Would the Boston Celtics, have as many rings as they had back in before that happened?
Dude, no. What a great rivalry that the Lakers and the Celtics back in the day.
Oh, back in the day, I mean, obviously at the height of it was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. So we had integration at that
Those
point.
30 for 30s were tremendous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think everybody kind of got to realize that, Larry Bird is one of the biggest talkers to ever play the game. Everybody thinks Larry Bird is just this quiet redneck.
Here's this question for you, Travi. Is Larry Bird allowed to say the N-word?
Absolutely not.
No?
No.
What about Eminem?
No.
Marshall Mathers? Nobody.
The answer to that question is no.
Jason Williams?
No.
No.
You can be white chocolate all you want. You're still white.
But at the end of the day, white chocolate.
Yeah, it
White cake.
It does not translate.
So why I think like the Yankees and Dodgers fans so goddamn similar is after Kendricks hit that grand slam in the 8th, you see Dodgers fans leaving. You see them leaving. Yeah, I'm sure they left on the top row, but on the bottom row, where you know it's LA, it is over $1,000 for a game 6, was it? It was like a do or die game, and y'all are leaving early. You're down 4 or 5, and you're leaving early where there's still the 9th inning where anything can happen. I could get upset. I'm still upset about it. It's just you would never see. You saw the Dodgers fans booing Dave Roberts, right? Yeah. Would you ever see the Giants booing Bochy? Would you ever see? It's like, yeah, you can leave early in a regular season game, beat the traffic, but if it's playoffs going into the 9th and you're leaving early and you claim to be this high intensity fan base because you're the best, you ain't shit. You're just like the Heat's fans that left early before Ray Allen just started busting a cap in. Who was it, the Celtics ass? Yep. Just like the Seahawks fans when they were playing the Packers when that dude muffed the onside kick.
Yep.
And the Seahawks recovered and won. All the same fickle-ass fans that just hop on this bandwagon and then hop right off when it's inconvenient for them.
I think what it goes down to is, like, most of the people who can afford those tickets aren't ride-or-die fans. That's just...
God damn, you are absolutely right.
The ride-or-die fans are all up in the nosebleeds where they've been priced out of trying to get into that room.
The ride-or-die fans are still in Oakland.
Yeah, you know,
they're not in the new Chase Arena.
No, they're not going to the Chase Arena. I guarantee you're going to watch the Warriors tickets struggle.
Oh, it will be great. You stay in Oakland. That's your fan base. It's like the grit and grime of these Oakland fans. That's why you go to Raiders games, because the fans... What fan base cheers that hard for a team so bad?
Exactly.
And they're doing okay this year, but it's their last year. In general, nobody.
If that Raiders team was in LA,
good day, sir.
They would have had to move years ago because they wouldn't have been able to fill seats. But that fan base deserves an NFL team.
Vegas, I don't know. You'll get your draw, but it won't be. It'll be a variety of fans.
I understand the play. You know, I'm interested to see what kind of flight deals they offer from Oakland to Vegas.
They better have some kind of season pass.
Oh, they're gonna have something on that flies you in Sunday morning on the red eye.
From Oakland to Vegas, back to Oakland.
There's gonna be something that flies out first thing in the morning, and then you catch the last flight back out after the game, and you're gonna be able to go, and you don't even got to stay in Vegas.
No,
you're gonna be able to get in the morning, tailgate, go to the game, and then fly home, get home back to Oakland about 1, 2 in the morning.
That would be the same, but it is Vegas, so.
It is not the same.
What
but,
am I?
You know, depending on the price of tickets and whatever else, you know, if you figure how much it is to pay to get across the bridge, and gas, and X, and Y, and Z, you know.
If they make it affordable,
if they're offering because they could offer just $49 flights, you know, Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
It's not like you're taking luggage. You know?
No, just take your gun. I think Spirit allows guns and drugs and like whatever
Probably.
Oakland Raider accoutrement
that you need.
Bring on whatever you need to be an Oakland Raider fan.
You can just rock on with it.
Rock on.
You know the whole point's gonna be Oakland Raiders fans. So
yeah, absolutely.
You're good to go. But yeah, you know, I think Oakland's gonna offer something like that at least for the first couple years to pay respects.
Hopefully.
Pay respects to the fan base.
Respect the fan base.
But at the same time, like, look at what Las Vegas has done for the Golden Knights. I mean, they love that franchise. Yeah. So I expect something along the same lines for the Raiders. Like, they've been so hungry for professional sports franchises in Vegas for so long. Mm-hmm. It's a massive city when you start looking at actual number of people that live there.
For some reason, when I think of Vegas, I just think of tourists going in, populating the entire city, even though that's a ridiculous sentiment. And they just do whatever, and then they leave. That there's not this city of locals there that do crave a local sports team. And you saw it yourself. Like, I went and visited there a couple years ago. The Golden Knights, who was on their first year run to the Stanley Cup playoffs, all that shit. And these fans were going hard.
They love the Knights. Everywhere you go, billboards, signs, fans, shirts, jerseys. I mean, they're everywhere in that town, and they love them.
Ice in the desert.
You know, and I expect the same thing out of the Raiders. I mean, Vegas, going back to how big it is, I think it has something over 120 high schools.
What? In Vegas?
In Vegas. Vegas is massive. I mean, obviously that's the surrounding areas. That's Las Vegas, Henderson.
Okay,
you know, that
like the county.
That whole basically what you can see from the top of the stratosphere.
Yeah.
But still, over 120 high schools. That is a ton of people.
That is. It's just. Have you seen the blueprint for the new A's stadium?
It's a horrible spot. It should never go through.
Really?
It's right there,
by Jack London Square, by the water.
Right there on the port. You know how hard those boats already have a hard enough time getting in and out.
They don't care about parking. They don't give a shit
I know, but the port will fail. And you know how much that port brings into the United States?
Probably a lot.
Billions.
All the AT-ATs.
Billions. Think about it. That's one of the fastest ways to get here from Asia.
Oh, it's getting smuggled in one of the cargo ships?
No, it's just going that route with that.
Oh, yeah.
What's coming in from China, Japan, all that stuff. The easiest way to get there on the boat, the fastest place you're going to hit, San Francisco.
Travi, I guarantee you there's a lot of people getting smuggled in. Those are big ships. When I was on the ferry going to and fro Larkspur and or Vallejo, and that ferry goes right next to one of those massive cargo ships, that is a city on the water.
Oh, absolutely.
It is huge. There's goddamn drugs in there.
Oh, there's everything.
There's
people.
There's people getting smuggled in.
There's guns. I mean, there's everything. Everything you see in the movies, it happens.
If I may quote Fat Bastard, there's more chins than a Chinese phone book.
Woo! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And that is your hot take.
Fat thighs here and there. All right.
Oh, shit! Ah, you motherfucker!
Okay,
let's rein this in.
Bring it back. All right, we're talking golf. We're talking... how pretty is just the sound of a golf ball just getting smacked off I want to say the third hole, because the first two, you're warming up still, maybe not the best, but that third drive, a par 4, how glorious is the sound of a golf ball getting smacked with the big fat head of a driver? How great is that sound compared to other sports sounds?
Ooh, that is a tough question.
The crack of a bat.
In general, it is a great sound. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to bring all of sports into one of the greatest sounds...
What's your sound?
Oh, without a doubt, there's not even a close second. Basketball, metal net.
That's Skylar has that take as well.
The swoosh.
Beautiful. It's
swoosh
slower.
Of a metal chain net. There's no better sound.
It's kind of like a lady pulling off a nice tube top dress, just working its way down as the ball kind of swivels down that nice metal chain link net. I love it.
Nothing better. Nothing better.
All right, let's keep it to golf. We'll keep it golf oriented.
We'll keep it golf oriented, but no, that third hole. Whoo,
that third hole.
That allows, let's be honest, we all get there nice early, have our tea time. First thing we do, we hit the bar, get a Bloody Mary,
a
couple of Coors lattes, and we make our way to the first tee.
So you're gonna walk me through, say, a typical Travis Geerts, maybe a day that you're drinking a little more, you're feeling a little rascalier than usual, but we'll get to that later. Of your tips to getting through 18 holes for a novice golfer that it's like, oh, I can't do this. I couldn't possibly do this. So remember, let's put a bookmark there.
Put a bookmark.
Come back later. Between the driving, the drive of a sound of a drive off the tee, or the nice little putter of the ball dropping in.
The sound of the ball hitting the bottom of the cup.
Yeah, after and I say it. Does it sound better the further back you are?
I think it does, especially now that they changed the rules. You're allowed to leave the flag stick in, so you get that nice little sound of the ball hitting the flag stick and then into the cup.
I don't want that. I want the stick out. I want a flag holder or a flagget to pull the flag, and I want to hear that pure drop.
That drop.
I don't want any flag about
drop. Yeah, I mean, it's different strokes for different folks.
God, great golf pun.
Woo!
All right.
But the sound of hitting the flag stick, when you just.
Are you about it?
I'm about it. I'm a fan.
That little ping.
Ping. Because the sound of the driver, it's great. I love it. I mean,
You're a drive guy, though.
That is what I do. I hit the ball a long ways, and I love every minute of it. And it's a great sound.
But compared to the bottom of the
I think
Sophie's choice between the two.
I think I'm going to take the sound of the ball hitting the cup.
You finish.
I'm finishing.
You're a finisher. All right.
But
very good. Hey. Here we go. So all right, basketballer, baseballer. You've been in intense moments, sports intensity. We're talking sports intensity. What's the difference, would you say, between, you're a pitcher, it's slow, it's methodical in baseball. What's the difference between that baseball intensity and, say, the intensity of a long drive competition? Because I don't think we've said it yet, but you're a long drive guy. What, 400 yards, 450, 500, you're balling out.
Ball's going a long ways.
Different intensity levels, I can imagine. What would you say the biggest difference is between traditional sports and a long drive competition, which you've been a part? Go ahead and just give us, dump it all on us. You've been to New York. You've been to competitions. You ain't no slouch.
It's fun, Ain't
no slouch.
I love it. I mean, I think the biggest difference is you're on the clock. You have a fixed number of swings that you're going to hit. You have 8 balls, 3 minutes. Who can hit the farthest? You know?
And I just watched one on TV where it's like you have to keep it in like a football field's width.
Yeah, so they
For
range
going
in size.
forward.
Yeah, so it ranges based on different grids, different things, just like baseball fields. You know,
Yeah.
There's different environments. You know, some of the places we hit balls are the grids wider. You know, it can be 35 yards all the way to 65 yards wide, and then
So you can't just slice it 500 yards to the right and they count.
And
Oh,
call
it's
it
so
good.
far. No, it's got to be.
it's got to be in the grid at all times. Even if it bounces out and then comes back in, it's out. Once it's out, it's out.
Okay.
And the grid doesn't start till 300 yards. So.
Oh my god.
If you can't hit it 300 yards in the air, you're not even in the conversation.
300 yards is probably the best drive I could ever hope for, and that's not even.
And that's if it hits the cart path.
Oh, it's got to bounce. So that is like. That's some bitch status stuff. That's.
You're looking at 3
your-
football fields even where it starts.
Your caddy hits it 300 yards.
Absolutely.
How far you be driving it?
My
would you say
record
your
on flight scopes, things like that, not in competition, I've hit it over 420. You're looking at 423, 424. Nice little California joke.
Yes, sir.
In competition, 393. Hopefully
Honest.
breaking that 400 barrier this season coming up. But I would say intensity-wise, it's louder.
It's bearing down on you, man.
Especially when you get to that last ball. You're
Louder?
sitting there and it gets loud because we're blasting music, all that fun stuff. I mean,
Really?
Oh yeah, it's not necessarily a party environment, but it's a party environment.
It's so is it playing over the loudspeakers?
Oh yeah,
or do you have your own?
loudspeakers, blasting music.
What's your go-to song when you're smacking these
Unfortunately,
balls?
we don't get to pick it. There's a set playlist because there's 4 people hitting at a time. So usually it's classic rock. It's just. Sometimes pop, sometimes
AC/DC.
You just never know what you're gonna get really, and it's blaring. And next thing you look over, and the other 3 guys, they're sitting there at 410, 408, 390, and you're sitting there with your 8th ball. You got 10 seconds left to hit it, and you gotta find out what's in your locker, and you gotta hit one. If you don't hit it 412, you're going home.
Right.
It's real easy to do it maybe once when you got a whole bucket worth of balls, but doing it with that ball in that moment.
It's got to be the one.
You start to feel it. That heart rate starts beating a little faster. Palms are starting to get a little sweatier. That intensity is there. Not saying it's the same level of intensity is there at baseball, basketball. We could all count down to that moment. Game tied. You get fouled. You gotta make 2 free throws.
Right.
It's the bottom of the 9th. Your team has a 1-run lead, bases loaded, and you're on the bump. There's been plenty of sports moments in my life where it's come down to that very moment.
How does it compare, though? Say you're on that last ball. People, like, they're watching it. Your competition's watching. Oh, is Travis going to hit it? Is he going to hit his best this one? Let's find out. Like, is that what is the anxiety levels? Because you're a pitcher. I was never a pitcher. I know the anxiety levels of, say, the pitcher position. All eyes are on you. On long driving, all eyes are on you.
Yeah, I would say the level of intensity is higher for me in long drive. Because, one, I haven't been playing golf since the time I was a little kid.
Right.
I sure as heck haven't been playing long drive in that swing. That swing is not, I'm still developing a long drive swing from a golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different. It has similar tendencies, but it's a different swing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I don't have, 10,000 swings where I know exactly what I'm going to be able to do in that pressure moment. Baseball, I've been playing since I could start to walk.
Yeah.
I've been throwing a baseball, so I know what I'm capable of, what I'm going to be able to do. I'm not concerned about whether or not I'm going to make that pitch.
Mm-hmm.
The other reason is, with long drive, your error, make to try and hit a ball 400 yards is next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just a millimeter off the center of the club face, you're not going to hit it 412.
So that's the thing. When I think of long drive, when I used to think of long drive before you got it golf balls deep in it and started spelling out the little, like the minute details. When I think of long drive, I'm like, oh, it's quality over quantity. These guys get to hit 500 balls, whatever ones go 1,000 yards, they're good. But no, you have a limited amount of golf balls to hit, and they gotta be accurate.
Yeah, and it all
Like,
comes
that's
down
some
to
yeah.
Because pitching, I can make a great pitch, and the guy could still hit a home run.
Mm-hmm.
I could make a horrible pitch, and the guy could miss it.
Yeah.
You know, there's another half that goes into play that once I let go of the ball is out of my control. Mm-hmm. Now, the same thing happens after I hit the ball. It's out of my control. But there's nobody on the other end of the grid trying to kick my ball out of bounds.
That's a very good point that I'm thinking about. Not only in golf, I mean, yes, you have opposition in long drive and in golf, say a tournament or something like that. But honestly, when it comes down to it, you're playing against you.
Yourself.
This is you, Travis versus Travis.
You don't hit the grid, that's on you.
Yeah.
You're the only one making the swings. You know, baseball, you could throw a perfect pitch, the guy hits it, and your shortstop boots it. The guy's safe.
That's not on you, but you threw your ass off.
You know,
right?
you throw a great game. Think about how many times you see that where a guy, you know, he's throwing a great game. He gives up one hit and it's a home run.
And that could be it.
And that's it. And he loses 1-0. I'm pretty sure as Giants fans, we can all count the amount of times that happened.
That's why it was so fun watching the World Series, because you saw like that last game, second to last, do with two different eyes.
Max Scherzer?
Scherzer throws a hell of a game, gives up. Was he game 7? He gave up like a home run in the beginning, but he pitched his ass off. Or Strasburg.
Yeah, Strasburg.
Gives up a home run or two. Gives up 2 runs in the beginning, but his team has his back. They get the runs back. He keeps pitching his ass off, holds them to 2. I mean, yeah, they play defense, of course.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that's where the level of intensity is greater in like sports like that, because you're going there for, 9 innings, 3-4 hours of high level intensity, where in long drive it's 3 minutes.
That's it. It's 3. It's
3 minutes, and then you have a break and you go and you hit another heat or you go against somebody else or whatever. Yeah. But it's 3 minutes of high level intensity. You have 8 swings. Whatever happens, happens.
Kind of sounds like my sex life.
Hey,
it's got high intensity.
High intensity.
3 minutes. Get out of here.
Who are we kidding?
Jesus, high intensity. 8 swings.
There we go. There it is. 8 pumps.
Give me a putt. We're done here.
But I think
the bottom of the cup.
I think I would take a hot, as far as like if you were just to go off the spike meter,
what gets you off more? Is it golf or say like a pitch you ring some motherfucker up in the bottom of the 10th?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dropping a dirty deuce on some guy and he swings, misses, and he's out.
You ring him up from the mound.
It's a great feeling. But I'll tell you what, there's not, for me, no greater feeling than you go up, first swing, you hit your ball. You see it, perfect flight, and you're like, oh, baby, go. And they come back with that number, and it's over 400 yards. And you can look at the boys next to you and go, hey, run it down.
I'm legit.
Chase that.
Is it a validation for you as a long driver to see that number? And it's like you're a confident person. You're a athlete. You know what you're capable of. You know you can drive the out of this ball. But when you get that number back and see this validation, how good does that feel? It's like, I am a 412. I can do 450. Like, that's got to feel amazing.
Oh, yeah. You see it and you get back that number and you're like, yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's times where you hit it and it comes back and you're like, wait, I thought I hit that better than that. Mm-hmm. Or you hit one, you're like, oh, I didn't really catch that. And then you get a big number still.
It's because you go to these sports. You don't want to go to those Russian competitions.
Exactly. But when you hit that one and it's just a peach and it's going and and then that number comes back and you're just like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I did that. And that's how when I qualified for Worlds this year, and we were going and
Dilly, let us
Dilly,
mother.
I'm your huckleberry.
When I qualified for Worlds in the first heat of the afternoon regional, you get a hit and we're going, and probably I think it was the fifth, sixth ball, I hit one and I caught it, and I knew it was going to be a big number, but you just never know. It was about 20 miles into the face, wind, just dead into the face. So anything could happen. You're not really sure what a good number is going to be.
Right.
And I hit it, and I knew I smoked it. And it's one of those things in long drive, if they don't immediately give you your number back, either it went out of bounds or it went past where the guy at the other end of the grid is standing. So you know that big number is going to come because they got run back to go chase it because you hit it over their heads.
Right.
And so nothing was coming up, and I was like, oh, I really hope that wasn't out of bounds. Like, I caught that.
Yeah.
And then everybody's hit their 8 balls, and we're all standing around looking, seeing out where we're going to place first through fourth. And then they call back 3-9-3, and I take first place.
Hey, now.
And it's like, all right, like that for me was that validation of like, I belong here. Mm-hmm. I can do this. Like, there was a guy who's a world champ that I was hitting against.
Was that your first time in long drive competition? Like, oh, Travi belongs here. this is my spot.
Oh yeah, that was that moment, and then from there, I went on to do really well, and I finished top 3 in the regional, and that is what punched my ticket to Worlds.
Yeah.
But it all started with that first heat when I beat a guy who was a former world champ. He was also the very first guy I ever hit against at my very first open qualifier.
What was this guy? What was
his name? Mike Dobbins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a world record. He's hit a ball 550 yards.
Wow.
He's an absolute freak of a human being.
Is he nice?
He's one of the greatest human beings you've ever met in your life. As much as you want to hate him, no, he's the nicest guy. He's a great ambassador for the sport. Everybody wants to take his picture. He'll never shun a fan. Like, he is a great human being. He's a big dude, and he hits the ball a long ways. But he was in that set, and he hit a ball, and he thought he caught all of it, and he probably did. And he yelled at it, and he was hyped. And then I hit mine. They came back with my number at 393, and I beat him. And he kind of gave that look around of like, who the hell is Travis Geerts?
This guy.
And it's just, this skinny little white guy over here.
Hi, it's me.
Hi, it's me. Yeah, you're like 100 pounds heavier than I am.
So you wouldn't be able to beat him in one-on-one naked combat?
Oh, no.
No? That's okay. It's okay to, know your limits, though.
You got to know who you are. And so it was cool because that happened. And then at the very end, we were going through the sets. The 5th set, because how it is...
Yeah, how does the competition go? What's the...
So it's 16 guys advance from an open qualifier to what they call a regional qualifier.
Right.
You hit against all the 15 other guys. So 5 sets, 3 guys at a time. Mm-hmm. First place gets 200 points. Second place, 100 points. Third place, 50 points. Fourth place, 25.
Right.
If you go 0 for 8, you don't get any of your balls in the grid.
You lose.
You get 0 points for that set.
You lose.
At the end of the 5 sets, the top 3 who have the most points advance to Worlds.
You lose.
Do you think it's, say strategy-wise, would you prefer to, it's a long drive, but I use this term lightly, to lay up, to maybe not go as hard to keep it accurate rather than just swing, have your asshole turn inside out going 600 yards? Do you want to go maybe not as hard to keep it accurate, or just...
You lose.
You just swing out of your ass and go for that big number?
Everybody has a different philosophy.
You lose.
A lot of stuff's changed now that you get 0 points for going OB.
You lose.
Before, when you went 0 for 8, you would still get 25 points. This past season, they changed it, and if you go 0 for 8, you get 0.
So James Harrison went in and talked to these guys. Hey, no participation points here.
No participation points here. You got to hit it in the grid. Yeah. So that changed a lot of people's strategies. Now they're, they're going to bunt one, so say, 320, 330.
323 is a bunt.
That's a bunt.
Jesus Christ, that would be...
Good day, sir.
I would, just break all my clubs if I hit one 323 and just leave.
So some people, they'll bunt one out there, but at the end of the day...
Wow.
Nobody that's out there, that's seriously out there, that considers themselves a serious long driver, knows that 320 is not going to win. And we're all out there to win. We're all out there trying to hit the biggest ball of our life.
Why not go for it?
If I'm going to get 25 points for going 320... but the guy who came in third was 380, I'm not going to advance to Worlds anyways.
Yeah.
You got to take first, seconds, maybe a third. So if the other 3 guys are out there at 370, 380, 320 isn't going to do you any good. You might as well take a 0.
So
you might as well swing, use all 8 balls to try and get out there.
It's like you're there for a reason. Why not try your best? Why not? It's trying your best might land you out of bounds, but why not just try to flop it out on the table?
Show what you got. And that's for me, there's a conservative long drive swing where you're still trying to, put a number on it, but it's not your 100% gassed out, I may miss this ball, I'm swinging so hard to swing.
Have you missed a ball in competition?
I've come pretty close.
Does that count as a swing?
Oh, it's a swing. It's a swing. It happens. I've seen it.
Embarrassing.
I've seen it happen. I've seen all sorts of things happen you never think would happen.
Does your caddy give you a pistol so you kill yourself on the spot?
Right then and there.
Yeah, you just...
It happened.
Johnson,
you got to sit there. You got to take the ball off the tee and, just...
formalities of it all.
Throw it to the judge.
Throw it to the judge, or if you're depending, you have a sword, you have to do a samurai.
Samurai,
suicide. And your caddy cuts your head off to less than
and you're done. You're out. There's no going back from that. All I have to say is if you do that, you better turn around and hit it 400 yards on your next swing.
Swing and miss the. I can't talk. I can't tell you how many balls I've, with serious intent, not just all right off the tee. I feel confident enough to hit it because I'm not swinging out of my ass. But say it's a chip or something like that where I just swing with every intention of hitting that 3 inches away from the hole, and I miss completely, or I hit it maybe 2 inches in front of the ball and it bounces maybe like a foot in front of me.
We've been there.
What's the most humiliating moment for a golfer? Is it that chili chunk, perhaps a complete whiff of a drive, or it's a birdie? Say it's a par 4, say par 5. You're about to hit it in for bird, and you miss it, and you're really close. Say you're like 5 feet away. What is the most humiliating or just worst experience on the golf course, in your opinion?
Oh, it's for sure just skanking it off the tee.
Just a shank.
Just a straight shank.
Slice
You just
on
come
a
up.
hook.
You just you go in. You're like, all right, here we go, and you just hit a straight hosel rocket off the tee, and you're just way out of
You like
bounds.
top it and it just straight down.
Think about it. There's nothing worse than being out with the boys
The boys.
and you don't hit it past the ladies' tee.
You have 805. So that's, the tradition. If you don't hit it past the ladies' tee, your next shot or next drive, you're hitting with your pants down.
You're dropping your pants. You're buying a round of drinks. You're dropping your pants.
Hopefully that cart girl comes around with the 805s. I figured is my secret sauce when golfing. Like, I played my best at Davis Muni the other day with the Contreras brothers. I had like 2 birdies, unheard of, on par 4, 18th hole.
There you go.
Birdied it. Never done again. I'll never do it again in my life. Like, I was playing out of my ass, and then like, oh, $5 on this one hole. I'm like, yeah, I can do $5. The par 3, I get like a 7. I just collapse once any kind of stakes are on the line.
Dude, it's amazing.
I crumble.
That's what I call them. I call it the Michael Jordan.
You lose.
You either have it or you don't. And when money gets put on the line, championships get put on the line, there's 2 types of people: those whose buttholes pucker, and those who rise to the occasion and go win championships.
I guess I puckered pretty something fierce.
Yeah,
I
about
think
a 7.
Missed out on. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was like a 7. I won't sugarcoat it.
It was a
I don't
7.
give that
Hey, it
much.
happens.
That
It wasn't a
pure-
snowman, so you're good.
Pure 7.
Pure 7.
Pure. Moving on. I got some good questions here. I got some good ones. They do a little bit of travel here. Your favorite golf course to play at, and you have been to St. Andrews.
I have been to St. Andrews in
Where's
Scotland.
where's your
the
place?
home of golf.
Yeah,
You can't beat St. Andrews. I mean,
it's the Mecca.
it is the Mecca. It's
yeah.
the place. It's the home of golf. It's everything that you could ever want. It's in the middle of nowhere. You gotta take a train, a bus, a
Really?
plane. It's not easy to get to.
Are golf carts allowed, or are you on
You're walking.
donkey?
You're walking.
Yeah.
It's just
No horseback, no
you
carriage.
and your 2 feet. That's all you got. You get yourself a caddy. Thankfully, my caddy was from San Francisco, which was super cool.
What's he doing there?
Making money, playing golf.
I bet he makes a lot of money. being
Living
a
the
caddy
dream.
there.
Oh,
That's pretty dope.
absolutely. But he's from San Francisco was great. So he was able to give me all the history of the course, all the great stories, talk about all these amazing things. He's been there for 2 decades. He's seen multiple British Open championships. He's got to see St. Andrews in all of its various forms. But at the same time, we were able to talk about 49er football.
Absolutely.
So it was great because he made it to where, because I wasn't over there to shoot the round in my life.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing golf. I wasn't one of my clubs. I was just there to be, for lack of a better term, a tourist.
Yes.
I was just there to take in the experience. I played with 3 guys who were on the St. Andrews golf team. So it was cool. They were my age. Just talking
accents.
shop, having fun.
Yeah.
Just great time. And we just, my cat was from San Francisco, and we just talked about Niner football and the history of St. Andrews. And so it was a very relaxed round. It was a beautiful day in Scotland.
No wind, no conditions.
No conditions.
That's not Scottish golf.
And it wasn't your stereotypical like St. Andrews. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
blown, it wasn't rain. So the golf course itself, like, that's what protects it. Like, it's I would say it's an easy course for what its standard is when there's no weather. That's what makes that course difficult.
I was gonna say it's this is a golf course. It's in Scotland. This is where St. Andrews. It's the Mecca of golf for all those who don't know. And you went there. Like, this is a professional grade course, and it's like, what are the typical conditions? It's raining a little bit? Or I'd say the wind.
The wind.
I mean,
there's
destroys it.
20, 30 mile an hour winds. I mean, there's times where you can't even mark your ball because your ball marker, after you pick up your ball, the wind will blow it away. Or you try and set your ball down and the wind will start blowing it away.
Because that's fun.
It's a blast to play in.
Jesus Christ.
No.
What do you think what's the coolest thing you learned about St. Andrews? Like when you're talking to this guy, the little fun facts and the lore, the history. Like, could you feel a vibe there?
You felt like you weren't the only one walking it. You know, you felt like you could sit there and you were walking it, but you were walking it with everybody who had done it before you. And so we were able to just kind of talk shop and different things. And for me, the moment that stands out the most is we got to the first par 3. And I was like, hey, like, you've been a caddy here for a long time. How many hole-in-ones have you seen? And he's like, I've seen 2. The entire time he had been there.
2?
How
long
in
was he
20
there?
years. 20 plus years. He's only seen 2.
How old is this guy?
He was in his mid-50s.
But he just loves being out there.
He just loved being out there. Grew up in San Francisco, wanted to get out of the city. All that's in the city of St. Andrews is golf courses and the university. That's it. There's no real other aspects of the town.
Do you think Scots have somewhat of a, say, golf in their DNA? Do you think it's part of their culture, their lore? It's like they have a natural instinct for it. Say for us and just sports, right? I'd say our family is, dare I say, athletic. These Scots, this golf, that's their football. That's their bread and butter, baby.
You know, there's plenty of people that are like, you talk to them that are from Scotland and are like, oh, I'm a horrible golfer. And then you compare them to the rest of the world and you're like, oh, you're like a 3-4 handicap. You know, it's something like
amazing.
Ridiculous. And it's like, oh, you think you're terrible, but actually you're phenomenal. It's just kind of like if,
it's all relative.
you know, if we played football here in America and then we went over to, you know, say Europe and said, let's play American football, you're going to look pretty good at it.
I would love to do that and feel like a big fish in a really small pond.
Really small pond.
Small.
You know, that's kind of like what it is playing golf in Scotland. You know, you hear these guys, oh, I'm not very good. And then you watch them play and you're like,
how'd you shoot when you were over there?
I think I shot in the low 80s. It was nothing impressive.
Was it able, like, you're still able to have a conversation with these guys, part of the team? Afterwards?
Yeah, like I said,
this bloody Yank is able to. That's British.
I'm British. Yeah, it's close enough. Anyways, I mean, we were able to get around the course, have fun, have a few laughs, drink a few pints, you know, but I wasn't there to try and shoot the round of my life. Yeah, it would have been great, but I was on vacation. You know, there was a couple things I wanted to do, you know, like I was happy when I got in a sand bunker because I was like, hey.
I'll take the Lannisters.
It was like, hey, you know what? I'm in a sand bunker. I'm going to try and get up and down out of like one of these crazy sand bunkers here at St. Andrews. And I was able to do it. So that was one
You got out of the sand?
Got out of the sand bunker, got up and down.
I don't do sand, Travis.
That was one of the things that I was on my bucket list, you know. I wanted to make a birdie. I made a birdie. I drove a par 4, you know, going back to the long drive thing. It was one of those things like, hey, I want to drive a par 4 just to say I did.
When else are you going to go to St. Andrews?
Yeah, exactly. But going back to that hole-in-one story. So I asked
yes.
Asked the caddy, and I was like, hey, how many hole-in-ones you seen? He said, I've seen 2. I was like, all right. Immediately after I asked him that, the group in front of us, the guy hits a hole-in-one.
No, on a par 3?
Par 4.
What the
Par 4. It's a short par 4. But anyway, still, we're all sitting there, and next thing we know, the group in front of us just starts yelling and cheering and going crazy, and we're all like, dude, you're on the tee box of a par 4. Like, what are you doing? And all of a sudden, we get up there, and holy shit, the guy hit a hole-in-one.
Just drove the shit out
Just
of it.
drove the shit out of it. Perfect. You know, think about that. You fly all the way to Scotland. Once in a lifetime opportunity. You're playing St. Andrews, and you hit a hole-in-one. But not only do you hit a hole-in-one, you hit a hole-in-one on a par 4. On a par 4. Think about how few people have hit a hole-in-one.
See it. They saw it from the tee box. They saw the ball go in the hole from the tee box. That's some distance, though.
Yeah, it is. But there's people down there on the green, too, that saw it as well. But everybody's going nuts. But, you know, think about it. Think about how few people in this world have a hole-in-one.
You probably get knighted with a golf club.
And then even fewer people have it on a par 4.
With witnesses.
You know, everybody can say, oh, I did that when you, you know, playing by yourself on a, you know.
You get a complimentary BJ or something like that at the clubhouse?
You got something.
Yeah, a little, some haggis. What do you guys drink on the golf course over there? What do Scottish golfers drink? What pints? Pints are there? Do they have is the golf cart girl or the drink girl? She coming around in like a horse with like a wagon behind it?
No cart girls at St. Andrews.
You're gonna drink water.
Good luck drinking anything.
Do whatever.
You know, and then afterwards you're gonna go down to the pub and you're gonna drink Guinness.
Yes, Guinness is the
Guinness.
That is the life force.
That is the life force. And let me tell you what, Guinness over there is a hell of a lot better than the Guinness you get here in America.
Thick,
just
black,
nice,
delicious,
cold, frosty Guinness,
just like Beyonce.
Ooh, there it is.
Frothy, froth. I love a good froth. That white foam frothing.
But I think St. Andrews would be my favorite course I've ever played. I mean,
I got you.
That was a bucket list item for so long, and then was able to.
It's just, I mean, it might not be the prettiest, but the legendary lore that is St. Andrews. You got to go and experience it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there. The history, it's right there on the ocean.
You're playing in the history books.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, how many people get to say, oh, I went and played St. Andrews?
You lose.
Not I.
Not I. So
Not I.
It's one of those things that's just, I'll never be able to, replace. That's just a memory that's there forever.
Yeah. Until we go there ourselves.
We go there and do it again, but it's not, there's nothing like that first time you step onto the course.
No.
It was one of those things like I was so nervous on the first tee that I almost missed the ball. That's probably as close as I've ever come to swinging and missing on a driver was right there at St. Andrews.
A little knife to put as a tee.
Oh, it was. You sat there and that's the widest fairway in golf, and I was still nervous. I sat there and went, oh, please don't miss the ball.
That the bagpipe guys next to you.
Bagpipe guys playing in the background, Because think about it, it's like, how long is it going to take for me to get back? Not if, but how long? Is it going to take me 20, 30, 40 years before I'm able to get back? You just never know where life's going to take you. I like to think so, too, but you just never know where life's going to take you.
Absolutely.
And so it was, it was that first tee feeling, everybody gets kind of the first tee jitters. Mm-hmm. But when you're on the first tee at St. Andrews and you got three guys standing behind you that are all, scratch plus golfers.
They're bad motherfuckers.
Well, you got to hold it down for all of America.
You got to hold down for America. Yes, that adds on to the anxiety. What else adds on to it for you? You are a student of athleticism, of sports. Like you respect it, all sports and the greats that have played all of them, and of very much of golf. And you're at St. Andrews. It's like you come with this appreciation of the sport for what it's meant, for what it means to you, for how many hours you've put into it, how many hours you've played with your dad or whoever. This is the apex of, say, a golfing career, regardless of its competition.
You can ask anybody who plays professional golf or strives to be good at golf. Mm-hmm. The two most spectacular golf tournaments that you could have on your resume as far as wins is winning the Masters.
Naturally.
Shot me in the ass.
Winning the British Open at St. Andrews.
That's impressive.
That right there are the two pinnacles of a golf resume. Have you won a British Open at St. Andrews? Have you won a Masters?
Have you even played at either of to even be considered worthy of playing there in professional competition? I'd say
absolutely.
Is accomplishment enough. But here's the question.
Good.
How much do you think it pissed off those white trash, flat-footed of Augusta that Tiger Woods has won so many competitions there?
Sir.
Oh, I think
where they don't allow women. I mean, I think they have one female member there now.
They do now. They have definitely.
Augusta down in Georgia.
They are behind in the times, to say the least. Compared to the rest of society.
Right next to Candyland.
But I think when he first came on, I think it ruffled a lot of feathers.
Good.
Now I think they're just kind of used to the fact that Tiger Woods is winning and realize the fact that Tiger Woods is great for golf. He
won this. He is great for golf. He really is, regardless of his extracurricular activities, which has forever skewed his,
I can't feel my legs.
Say, his image for my parents. They just can't stand him. But just Tiger, as an athlete, to have had as many surgeries and to have gone through what he's gone through and to keep trying after you thought, man, he can't even win a putt-putt challenge. This guy wins the Masters this year?
Wins the Masters and turns around and wins 2 weekends ago.
And in Japan.
Yeah, he just went and won again. So now he's tied for the record for most career victories. And, I mean, at the end of the day, can you really hate? The guy has over $150 million in career earnings. That's no sponsorship. That's just golf earnings. Yeah, career earnings north of $150 million.
That's a good direction. I'll say.
That's what happens when you win 82 golf tournaments.
I like 82 golf tournaments won. Yeah. I could use that in my life.
I could definitely. I'll take one. I'll take one.
Here's a question for you. It's a little mix of nerd culture and golf. Are you ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Because I have my answer for it. Where would be the ideal spot for a golf course in Westeros? Where would you want to play? In the Seven Kingdoms.
In the Seven Kingdoms.
Possibly Eastros as well, but we'll keep it Westeros. We'll keep it Westeros. I have my ideal spot. Because we're going to go the best spot to play and then possibly the hardest or most difficult.
Most difficult.
Yeah, but let's go with where would you want to play the most?
You mother.
Let's see. That's a good question.
We go through the map. We got the north. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's a little cold. That's very St. Andrews.
It's very St. Andrews-esque. I think that's kind of what they were going for. Is very.
There's north.
Highlands.
Also, the Stormlands where the Baratheons are from. All that wind. That actually might be very St. Andrews.
Yeah.
It's very windy.
But that's not really coastal.
They're there. Like it's just they have a lot of weather.
A lot more weather. Yeah, absolutely. I think. I'm gonna take a trip down south. I'm gonna try to play. Going to Dorne. I'm trying to play some nice warm weather. Reminds me a lot of Palm Springs, maybe a little Florida.
All right, I'll hit you with this. Highgarden.
That was my first thought.
Lush. It's beautiful. You got
green.
Marjorie there.
It's a beautiful life.
I'd say.
I think I'm gonna go
Highgarden.
with Dorne, Highgarden, somewhere in that realm.
King's Landing have a good course.
King's Landing is gonna be tough. It's
a long waiting list.
It's a long waiting list to go play there.
They're rebuilding.
They're rebuilding. Things are a little under fire.
Get a little. Got some political fire, some literal fire. They're under fire. They're on fire.
They're on fire. They're doing a lot of things down there. Some big changes are coming.
Big changes.
But then we go to the most difficult. I think you're gonna go in the north. You're going north of the wall.
You're snowy north of the wall.
North
even.
of the wall.
Oh!
Imagine trying to play in feet deep of snow.
I'd rather not.
I'd rather not. The other night I went and played a little night golf. Played in the dark. That was fun.
Night golf. Where'd you go?
Oh, we did it up at Yochadihi.
You're bad.
Oh yeah, we had out.
That'd be fun.
Had some lightsabers, some glow up golf balls, and
do you have some glowy golf balls?
Glowy golf balls. The cup glows.
Do I need to edit this out? Are the Yoko Deckians? Is the tribe gonna fire you for golfing at night?
Absolutely not. It was for corporate.
Corporate.
We had a big corporate retreat come in for our management company, and so.
How's golfing at night?
Alex Thompson was actually the one that put it on.
Atom, my man.
And so, so it was a great success. Everybody loved it. They're actually thinking about bringing it in full time.
Glowing golf balls?
Yeah, the golf ball glows, the cup glows.
Can you see it? Is it all?
Oh yeah, you can see it. It's like a regular golf ball. It's phenomenal. LED light, it's a ton of fun.
Glowing golf carts.
The golf carts will probably be decked out, have little lights. Bring in a couple stadium lights. Make it a little. Make it 3-4 holes. You just kind of loop it a couple times. Put a beer cart in the middle of it.
Give everybody a searchlight to find their whatever.
No, it lights up. The ball light. You can't. You see it. It's a bright light.
I like that.
And it's something fun. It's something different. I mean, that's what golf needs. Golf,
a little change, a little excitement.
Today's younger generation is not golf fans. Most country clubs are struggling right now because their members are all passing away because they're all old. And trying to find new young blood to play regular 18-hole golf is hard to find.
What do you think what is the golf community going to have to do to attract these younger, say a younger audience? Is it making the hole a little bigger? I've seen kick golf where you hit a soccer ball and half the distance of the golf, actual golf, the tee, the hole itself.
I think that's part of it.
More fun additions to the game.
I think it's going to come down eventually to pace of play. Our generation, early 20s, late 20s, and teenagers, we all come from a generation of instant gratification.
Yes.
Nobody wants to sit around for 5.5 hours playing golf. It takes too long. It's your whole day.
It's a great day, though.
It is a great day.
Oh, they just don't get it.
But it's a long day, which is why there's been such a huge popularity in things such as Topgolf.
Yeah.
It's an hour. Maybe 2, maybe 3 if you really want it to be.
You're drunk.
And you're drinking.
Yes.
There's more drinking. There's live music. There's dancing. You're not really having to play the whole time, but at the same time, you're playing games. Mm-hmm. It's more bowling than golf.
I'd say that is the bowling of golf.
Yeah, and that's why young people really enjoy going to places like Topgolf. Not so many people, and then you throw in the fact it's mixed. It's co-ed.
Yeah.
There's a lot more women willing to go to Topgolf. If you go out on a date and you're like, hey, you want to go play golf with me?
Let's go Topgolf.
It's gonna take a special kind of girl to go out on the golf course with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if she's never played before. But if you're like, hey, do you want to go grab a couple beers and go play Topgolf? Yeah, sure. Why not? There's no pressure to hit the ball 400 yards.
Pressure. So I think in addition to the time it takes to play golf is the overall competency of it. People, I suck at golf and I don't want to play it. But if you had say a ringer there, somebody that knows what the you're doing on their own golf. Hey guys, I'm going to teach you how to play whatever. Here's some drinks. Maybe like just
I
an
think
MC or something fun to do where it's like you're drinking. You're gonna have a good time because we have these fun people that's gonna accompany your foursome in their own golf cart, give you drinks, make it kind of like an inclusive kind of event. Something maybe
I think it's gonna be something like that. Something more like 9 holes.
9 holes.
You're not out there for 4.5 hours. You're out there for 2 hours. You're learning, you're vibing, and the other part is golf's expensive. It is expensive.
Yep.
If you're looking to get new clubs, even if you're not getting top of the line stuff, you're still gonna spend probably $1,500 for average stuff.
A hundy.
And then you gotta buy balls. You gotta buy tees. Do you really want to? You can get crazy with it, and even like, oh, I don't want to golf in tennis shoes, so I'm gonna go buy golf shoes. Golf gloves, and then you gotta look the parts. You're gonna buy hats, shirts, belts. It's just expensive. Where our generation is, do I want to spend that much money on golf, or do I want to go travel? Or do I want to buy the new video game or whatever it is?
It's true.
That is, I can do this. Why do I want to spend that much money to go do that?
It's not as sexy. It's not as sexy to be playing golf. When you make
if a lot of people aren't like, oh, what'd you do this week? Oh, I went and played golf.
Like if I know I have golf on a weekend, like on a Saturday afternoon, you drink with your boys, then do some more drinking after the fact because you got to ride. You're not drinking and driving. I mean, you are drinking and driving while you're playing, though. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Little golf cart action.
Yeah, a little hitting the ball, long drive, drinking and driving, dude. But anyways, it's fun. I can't express how much. I don't know. I do it every once in a while because the more I play, I feel like, okay, I'm going to be expecting more of myself. So the more in between I have between rounds, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to relax, expect nothing of myself, and just have a good goddamn time.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point, though, when you said that. What gets you excited, like, yeah, the golf, but it's the boys.
It's the yes.
Whereas if you think about it, like, there's some people out there, it's hard for them to get 3 buddies to want to go play golf, or just get 3 people in general to go do anything, and a lot of people in today's society don't want to go do stuff by themselves.
Because it's cheaper to stay inside and jack off all day.
Absolutely.
Easy peasy. I can attest. It saves money.
It's a lot cheaper.
Unless you get Pornhub Premium. But, I mean, I guess that's free now, too. So
all sorts of action.
Just give them your credit card number. Yeah.
It happens.
What was I going to say? Hold on. I'm going to put my nose against this thing.
Well, I think you're looking at, it's just hard to get 3 people together. It's hard to get the boys together that all want to go play, Even if you're going and playing, whether you're playing a nice course, just a local muni, it adds up.
Some of the best times I ever had was you came to visit with AJ, and it was like my boy Brad came and just crossfaded as playing in Runner Park. Like Brad hit a ball, almost smacked me in the face, bounced off the golf cart. We were like, it was like Ben-Hur. We were in our golf carts just smacking each other, having sword fights with golf clubs. It was a ruckus. Wow. It was a good time. It's just
we are very lucky that we did not get kicked off the course that day.
Well, you roll the dice a little bit.
It's days like that you look back on like this is what golf courses are gonna eventually have to loosen the restrictions.
Loosen up a bit.
On what is expected. I mean,
it sucks though. I hate seeing these guys drive their golf carts over. It's fun to watch, but to see them disrespect the golf course and the golf carts and to just ruin things, I'm like, yo.
Once you're starting to do actual physical destruction, whether it be to golf carts, to the golf course, there's levels, But if you're just out there having fun, drinking a few beers, hanging out with the boys, like before, you had to be in a collared shirt, no music, closed-toed shoes, all this stuff that made it stuffy.
Stuffy indeed.
Where you've seen that kind of start to relax. You're starting to see more people playing in flip-flops. Almost every single person now has a boombox or a speaker.
A little something, your phone.
You're playing music out of your cart. Let's be honest. We're a society that loves music. Mm-hmm. So if you had to sit there in silence for 5 hours, it's not really going to work out too well. No. But you let somebody have a little music, have a little booze. They're comfortable.
Put a little personality in this. Make it fun.
Make it you. More people are going to want to play golf, But the day of the stuffy collared shirt, that's going to
those days have come to an end.
It's going to die off.
It's all good. It's what I've realized in life is when change, all the research I've done is when change happens, that means growth is happening.
You lose.
Change and growth and progress. It's all one.
It's all synonymous.
It's all a synonymous, great word, a synonymous entity that shows life is happening.
Yeah.
When there's change, this is life. Golf absolutely can survive. It's just reframing it in a way to a younger audience can enjoy it as well. Because I like the sanctity of baseball, right? I want it to remain the same. For golf, I like things staying the same, but I also get that to survive, you have to change things up a little bit.
You have to give homage to the past.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to stay in the past. I mean, going back to
True,
the comment
very
about
true.
the Masters, Augusta didn't allow women members.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean they should always not allow women members? No. Okay? Things have to change. They have to keep up with times. It's like any other business. You have to be able to adapt. Think about it. Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for $50 million. They turned it
Could
down.
have put it out of its misery
They
long
could have bought
ago.
it, and Netflix could be Blockbuster. Blockbuster turned it down. Netflix, more or less, took over the rental movie market.
I went to actually I had some pictures in front of the last Blockbuster. You know where it's at?
You lose.
Bend, Oregon. I went there with Chad and his girlfriend Megan. We took some pics in front of it.
Bend, Oregon's a fun place.
It's a great place.
One of my favorite things they do in Bend, Oregon, is they have a giant rubber ducky race. And you can buy rubber duckies, and everybody gets to buy their little rubber ducky. They all get to put it in.
Let's go.
At the top of the river, and it all races all the way through town, and there's a winner. And it's like a huge, I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was money. It might have even been a free car. But
Jesus.
whoever's rubber ducky makes it down the river first
I would
wins
just
a massive prize. And you can buy multiple duckies.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it's a huge thing for the city. They
Jesus,
love it.
I would just go and drink and throw sandwiches at people on the water. Like, I'm not trying to win. I would just go to enjoy. I just enjoyed the community there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's one of those
Summertime.
things that's, just a fun, stupid thing if you think about what we're all going to sit here and watch rubber duckies float down a river.
Sounds like a good weekend.
But in theory, you're like, wow, this is a really waste of time. But
Is it?
when you add the community and that bringing people together as humans, not as white or black, Republican or Democrat, but just as people in the community together enjoying a beautiful summer day, it brings people closer together. And that's why, Bend, Oregon is what it is. That's why the people are they're all friendly. They say hello, they say goodbye, they say yes sir, yes ma'am. It's a community that loves the people within it.
And they cultivate happiness that way. Is doing these silly little things like.
Oh yeah,
that's just
there's a
theirs.
lot. They're happy. You
They
walk
are
around.
happy. You could tell they're happy.
They're happy people. It's a lot different than the people you see in, dare I say, New York or L.A.
I went to one day. It was like the last week I was working in San Francisco. I always walked in with my headphones in just so I listened to a podcast. So I don't have to listen to people yelling at each other. I don't have to listen to honking or just these angry little bitches every single
that
day.
happens in big city living.
So I was like, I want to count how many smiles I see. If the only smiles I saw on people's fucking faces were either they're on their phone having a conversation or walking with another person. Other than that, it's in the morning and people have their heads down. They have their headphones in. They're either on their phone, scowling, walking to a place they don't want to go.
You lose.
Maybe it's nice. Maybe they're having a bad morning. I don't know. I did not see very many smiles at all for the couple weeks that I decided to be more conscious of it and be like, wow.
It's amazing what happens when you start to look around and you take your eyes off your phone and look at what the rest of the world is doing around you. You start to notice a lot of things like that. Like
Sociology is actually kind of fun.
Oh, it's a blast. And you start to
Humans.
realize just, how basic human behavior
Humans,
is.
dude.
Humans are not as complex as people try to make them out to be.
Isn't it nice to kind of separate yourself? It's like, yes, we're humans. You and I, Travis and Aaron. But to just take an outside perspective and say we're aliens kind of filming these creatures, these humans, it's like we're upset over what holes we stick things in or how much melanin are on our skin or what you believe made us all. It's so funny to see what drives us and what divides us. It's so it's you gotta laugh at it.
Oh, yeah.
How ridiculous these humans are. Maybe if they have boobs, they deserve to be paid less or not treated as well. Maybe if they wear a turban, we need to assume that there's a bomb under that turban or something like that. It's just humans are funny.
Yeah.
And we gotta laugh at ourselves, but
Exactly.
we don't do
If you
that.
can't laugh at yourself, then everybody else will.
Oh, all these assumptions and there's the stereotypes. Like Chappelle probably is the master of the cliche of joking about stereotypes, but at the same time, if it's funny, just laugh at yourself. It doesn't matter. Just laugh at yourself.
At the end of the day, like, it happens. You know, just
that it does.
Just go with it, roll with it. Doesn't mean you have to like it. You know, I'm not saying don't stand up for yourself. There's a difference between bullying and having fun. There is a difference. You know, understand that difference and standing up for yourself. But, you know, if you do something and it's funny and somebody laughs at it and you go, okay, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best decision, laugh at it.
That's the best step you could take when you can, or even self-deprecating humor. Or like somebody laughs at you, you're like, you know what, that was pretty stupid. I'll be the first one to tell you. I mean, maybe I'll be a little salty out the gate, like, man, I meant that, it was serious. But if I take a huge swing of a golf club and miss the ball completely off the tee, I'll be the first one to laugh at myself. You have to laugh at yourself. That's the only way to get
Life's too serious.
It is so serious. It's so serial. All right, speaking of serious, I got some serious questions for you. We need to move on. One-on-one naked combat, you know what I'm saying? No weapons, just you're greased up, balls and bronze to the death.
You lose.
All right.
Picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right, I got a couple matchups for you. We got John Daly versus Tiger Woods. Who wins?
Oh, John Daly. Without a doubt.
Very good.
If you have a mullet, you're not losing.
If he didn't have his mullet, say he shaved it.
Oh, I don't
Tiger
know.
come in with a 6-iron breaking
Oh,
glass.
no, is it like dad bod Tiger or is it like ripped late 90s, just jacked out of his mind?
Let's go pre-sex scandal Tiger and post-sex scandal Tiger.
Ooh,
John Daly beats them both.
doesn't matter.
John Daly slays.
John Daly has some of the greatest.
And
golf
John Daly's
humor.
probably had more sex than Tiger, let's be honest.
Let's be real, yeah.
Battle of the Lefties.
Wow.
Filthy Phil Mickelson versus Barry Bonds. One-on-one naked combat.
Oh, Phil Mickelson.
Yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
With the
Have you seen
calves.
have you seen the size of Barry Bonds' head? You can't miss it.
It's a big head.
Phil Mickelson might miss. He might miss a fairway, but he's not gonna miss that head.
Every punch lands.
Every punch lands. Size of Barry Bonds'
That's a
head.
big head. All right, here's one for you. We've seen Bob Barker. We've seen him in Happy Gilmore. He's a stand-up puncher. He can ground and pound a little bit, but he's all strikes, right? Bob Barker versus Nate Diaz. Who wins?
Oh, Bob Barker.
Bob Barker.
Nate Diaz is just gonna fight with his face.
He's gonna get.
He's gonna get cut up. He's gonna bleed,
Sucks that fight
and it's gonna get called off. Yeah, I mean,
Good day, sir.
They'll do it again. They'll run it back.
that guy's job is to protect Nate Diaz when Nate Diaz won't protect himself.
That's true.
I mean,
He had a big cut.
the size of those gashes, realistically, you know, 99% of the time, nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna keep fighting. Nate Diaz is gonna do what he does. That 1% of the time when Masvidal punches him in the eye and his eye pops out,
It's bad for ratings.
everybody's gonna look at that referee and go, "Why did you not call the fight?"
Or the doctor.
The dog. Why did you not
that
call
little
the fight?
man? It's They'll for sure run it back. They'll for sure do that. But it just sucked because the narrative leading up to that fight was the baddest motherfucker belt. They had the Rock out there. We're gonna find out the baddest motherfuckers. Oh, the doctor said.
Doctor said you are not the doctors. Nobody wanted the doctor to be who decided who was the baddest motherfucker.
It needs to be the police chief.
Especially since Nate Diaz. That's how he fights.
Nothing.
He fights
a long
with
game. He
he
takes
fights
hits.
with his face. He wants to make it a dirty, grinded out, bloody fight. Wear you out. Show that you can hit me with your best shot, and I'm not gonna get knocked out.
You lose.
And I'll see you in the 4th and 5th round.
That's what Skylar was saying. He's a distance fighter. Yeah. So it's once he starts getting towards the end of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, he has that endurance to keep on fighting. And Skylar also, I have respect for what they do. I don't know very much, but I know when they're on the ground, it's all a chess match of what hold they get you in and how many ways you can reverse it or possibly counter it. Nate Diaz is a ground guy. And I didn't really know that.
No,
so
yeah,
it's like he was waiting to wear him
black belt
out.
jiu-jitsu, get it on the ground, roll around, and put Masvidal in a bad situation and take advantage of it. Nate Diaz is not, he doesn't have a whole lot of one-punch knockout power. That's not his game. He's going to wear you down, get it into the 4th and 5th championship level rounds, roll around with you and put you in an arm bar, and you're going to hate your life.
I like that.
Yeah. And the doctor took that away from him.
He needs tougher skin, suppose. Maybe he can't take a joke. He's got that thin skin.
Oh! But
that was terrible.
As much as I would love to see it run back, that's not what the UFC is about.
You don't think they'll give him a second chance?
I don't think they're going to run it back. They're going to give Masvidal's too big of a name. They gave him this fight, let Diaz get some money, get some play, all that stuff. You know, as much as everybody wants to see it, as much as the two of them are saying they want to see it, Masvidal's going to go fight for a belt.
Yeah.
That's
Besides that, it's a fun little consolation.
Fun little belt. No. He's going to go fight for a real belt.
He'll get it.
And the thing is, if he wins that fight, you can't give him Nate Diaz. You know, he's going to have to defend his belt. It's not going to be against Nate Diaz. And then, you know, next thing you know, we're 1, 2, 3 years down the road, and Masvidal's been doing belt fights, and we all of a sudden went, oh, wasn't he supposed to fight Nate Diaz again?
Nate Diaz, he needs to fight more than once every 5 years, I think, if he wants to get...
You're thinking about Conor McGregor.
Oh, he's still alive, is he? He's proper 12.
Proper 12.
That's pretty good, by the way.
It is. It's not bad.
All right. I have one more question, and then we have 10 off the cuff to, like, round this bad boy out. I like to do 10 just kind of wacky out of blue questions. Yes or no's. It's very quick, but oftentimes we'll sit and talk about one of the answers or something like that. But the last question here is, like, say you have a fantasy foursome, not sexually, golf, of any, say, fictional characters or, say, celebrities, a fantasy foursome, round of golf, say at St. Andrews or, say, Yocho, your home course.
Home course, Yocha.
Yeah, Yocha.
I mean,
who's your fantasy for? Tyrion Lannister, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tyrion,
He doesn't even play.
He doesn't even play. He's going to drive my cart.
Mm-hmm.
No, if I had to go with my fantasy foursome, anybody, fictional,
Any
non-fictional,
athlete,
celebrity,
whoever it is.
I think first and foremost, we're throwing Happy Gilmore in there.
Very good. Very good. Get him out of retirement.
Bring him. You know, I know it's hockey season. It's going to be tough to drag him out there, but
He'll play.
we're going to throw Happy Gilmore in there.
Yep.
I think you gotta throw Tiger in there.
Tiger?
The GOAT. You know, just to see what that is like.
To play with Tiger.
To play with Tiger. See what that feeling is. Because, you know, very few people on this planet have got to experience Tiger on Sunday. You know,
socially awkward Tiger, though. I mean...
Nah,
I would send him. I would send him in the other card. I wouldn't.
I'm not riding with him. I'm not riding with him. He's in the other cart for sure. I'm riding with Happy.
Just to see, do you think Happy and Tiger would have a decent round together, or would like?
Oh no, it's gonna be like Shooter.
I would
think
want to
Tiger's
play with Shooter. Honestly,
I think Tiger's gonna get pretty pissed off about all the Happy fans.
I'd want Shooter. So there. Of course, there's fans there. Of course, it's a fantasy foursome. Of course, there's a crowd.
Yeah. We're playing on
lining the fairways.
We're playing on Sunday.
There's no rough. Everybody. There's people in the bunker. There's people in the water.
It's all par fives.
All par fives. All right,
it's 18 par fives.
Who's your fourth? Who's your fourth? There's you, Happy, Tiger. Who? And Tyrion.
Tyrion's not really playing though.
No. Say an actual player.
An actual player. I think realistically, I could go on with MJ. Big time golfer, loves golf, and another one of those people. It goes back to that intensity question that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Is, you know, Tiger? You really think MJ's gonna want back down to Tiger? I know they've probably played together in real life.
Oh yeah.
But you know how competitive Michael Jordan is. Do you really think he's gonna want to lose to Tiger Woods?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. That's golf. It doesn't matter. That's GOAT versus GOAT. Like MJ is gonna have to prove something, and then when Happy kicks both their asses.
Well, I was gonna ask you, who's your third GOAT that you want playing with you? If this is a game of goats.
Game of goats.
Yeah. Are you bringing in Joe?
Let's see. Here.
Montana. People say Tom Brady. I'll entertain him as one of the best. But he's playing. I've seen a referee call roughing the passer when he gets like looked at. You know,
different generation. I mean,
it is different generation.
I mean, you can make the same complaints about LeBron. You know,
I'll make all the complaints. Don't worry.
James Harden, you know, that they get calls that would have never been calls.
They're playing defense on him from behind, so he doesn't step back. I mean, he's kind of.
He's changing the game.
He's changing the game. But
if we're going with GOAT,
the game will adjust.
The GOAT of my GOAT foursome, we're going Tiger, MJ.
Any other GOAT? I'd say relative GOAT. I think other people. GOAT it's not a universal term because when it comes to sports, it's all a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
You can use statistics to back up your opinion and perhaps crush other people's opinions. But if somebody's like, "Oh, Jeremy Lin's the GOAT of basketball," some little,
yeah,
everybody
has their own opinion. There's no
exactly.
actual finite, real, outside of I would say Wayne Gretzky. Just
you'd golf with Wayne?
No, I'm saying as far as there's no disputing who the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
In hockey,
absolutely.
There's in all the other sports, you could make comparisons. In hockey, like, it is Wayne Gretzky. Like, it's just his stats are so much better.
Video game. Like,
you
it's
know,
nonsense.
his stats make no sense. Like, he has records that'll never be touched. I think that's a fun topic that we could probably get into is, you know, records that'll never be touched.
Let it be known. This is not this is not the last time you'll be on this podcast. Many more times. Like, there's so much more to talk about.
Oh, we will be in the lunchbox again.
So your fourth goat would be?
My fourth goat would be, I think I'd probably go with Wayne Gretzky.
Just that for the sake of conversation for 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, just to talk to.
Glorious.
Yeah. No, I'll take it back. He's cut out.
Really?
He's cut
Wayne?
out. Yeah,
Who's taking his spot?
You lose.
Don't say Steph.
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps, dude, smoking dope on the course. And he's been practicing.
He's been practicing. I think hanging out with Michael Phelps.
Just talking about his sex stories and whatnot?
Yeah, dude, just figuring out who he is beyond the swimmer. Everybody knows who Michael Phelps the swimmer is. But if you ask anybody else, who is Michael Phelps out of the pool,
hey.
they're all just going to say pothead.
Hey, it's Mike. It's Mike.
It's Mike.
Got a couple of mics.
Can I get a mic and a mic?
Yeah, Mike and Mike. You got golf. Who are you riding with on the golf course? Is it Michael Jordan?
Well, I'm riding with Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps?
Yeah. Jordan and Tiger.
You let Jordan and Tiger just
grind it out. Not a single word will
They
be
don't
said.
say a word to each other.
18 holes of silence.
And Michael Jordan bangs the golf cart girl, the drink girl.
Oh, absolutely.
Naturally.
Naturally.
In the bunker.
Yeah.
While
Tiger watches.
He comes first. Tiger sits there and trying to hit his golf ball.
He's going to try to play the game.
There's no game. There's only Michael
But
Jordan.
I would, No, I'd say Tiger, Michael, and Michael.
That's a good call. It's a fine call.
It's an interesting call. It's not gonna be the
I
most.
like it.
It's not gonna be the most fun round ever.
No,
But you're gonna learn a lot of what it takes
Yeah.
to be a champion.
Would you take turns? Would you swap spots in a golf cart at the after the ninth hole? So
I'd
you
probably
guys go and get
6-6-6.
you go get some lunch.
I'd probably go 6-6-6. I'd 6 holes with all three of them.
Why not play 36 holes?
Oh, you know, if we're gonna do it, why not?
Let's start at
Play around
5 a.m. Whatever.
Lap it twice. It's a great day.
That is a pretty good day.
I can guarantee you, Michael Phelps is gonna be high as
dude.
by the time we get to the last
Won't
36.
we all? He goes swimming.
He's gonna take a swim like.
That'd be great.
He's gonna go run down the hand. He's gonna go chase down the alligator.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it back. Well, that gator dead.
He did.
Killed a kid his ass. All right. 10 off the cuff. I got 10 loaded questions in this finger pistol I have.
Oh, it's
here.
one of those LA guns. Never runs out of bullets.
Never ever. Are you ready for it now?
Hit me with it.
Who would have been a better choice of king than Bran Stark? The Night King or Jon Snow?
Ooh.
Night King doesn't around. He would have ruled with a frozen fist.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think there would
everybody would have
order.
lived in fear.
They would have. I mean,
I think John Stark is the.
ooh.
John Stark is the.
Snapping these fingers, though. I know you hear it, mother.
Is the human choice.
Yeah.
You know, he is what we all would want if we still lived under king rule.
True.
Is somebody who didn't want it, wasn't born into it, wasn't
I don't want
expected.
it. I don't want it.
You know, and all he wanted what was best for everybody that he was in charge of, whether it had been at the wall, when he was, you know.
Who would have been your choice as ruler?
Tyrion.
Tyrion?
Yeah.
As ruler.
As ruler. The
That's
problem
true.
is nobody would ever listen to him.
Nobody. You're not here to speak.
You're not here to
I posted something on Insta the other day, and it's Grey Worm saying, "You're not here to speak." But the caption on it is, on Grey Worm, it's a Q, and then Tyrion, that there's a UE after me. It's just like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but I love it, because Q yells, it's kind of like, I want to do memes about just the English language. So stupid.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, K-N-O-W.
Yeah.
What is the K and the W doing there?
Yeah, it's just hanging out.
Get it out of there. It's hanging out. But
I think we're going to go with the, you know.
little JS?
Little JS, you know. I think
little-
he's going to want to lead the people. You know, he's all
He will.
about bringing everybody together. I think he would want to form something along the lines of what the American government did and put in houses and split up the power and checks and balances and want what's best for the world, and they'd thrive forever. The Night King would
that
just tell
sounds
everybody,
that sounds great on paper.
yeah, the Night King would just tell everybody to off and bend the knee. And,
These communists. The Night King, is that like just a euphemism for Russia, for communism in general? Is Game of Thrones the most American capitalist show ever made? You gotta defeat the cold ass commies coming out the north. That's a Russian winter if I've ever seen one.
Russian winner if I've ever seen one.
Almost took out Winterfell, let me tell you.
And he's sitting there throwing javelins like he's a goat.
That's a great throw. That's a f***ing Joe Montana throw if I've ever seen it.
He let it fly.
Bam! Hits his target.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we can get more into the nerdiness.
Dragging down.
We have quite a nerdy flex between us, sir, and we'll get to that on another episode.
Absolutely.
Even with Chops, like I call this thing the porn star because it can fit up to 4 mics. If we get you and Chops in here, we can just have a nerd off. Go hard on these nerdy topics.
Absolutely.
Moving forward, who would have won that fight in the last episode between Grey Worm and Jon Snow?
You lose.
Grey Worm.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I'd
agree with just a knife.
And the thing is he's alive because he's never lost.
He's an efficient killer. He's never died, unlike Jon.
Unlike Jon. Hate to break it to you, he dies a lot.
Killed by a f***ing 10-year-old Ollie, the little bitch.
Yeah, Grey Worm.
Ollie.
And he has no sex drive, so...
Not anymore.
He's not going to be sitting there crying because Daenerys is gone.
My Sunday!
Jon Snow's sitting there going, I killed Daenerys. Oh no, I killed my aunt, who I was in love with. I'm so confused.
It's like you can't unbang your aunt. You might as well
And
go
then
for it.
next thing you know, Grey Worm's going to kill him.
Excuse me. Moving forward. Grey Worm for sure.
Yeah.
Superior athlete, superior man. I bet he had a huge wiener before it was cut off.
Oh yeah, he really missed out.
Another knife, another sword. Would you rather be burned at the stake or drawn and quartered?
Wow.
There's no right answer. It all sucks.
It all sucks.
Yes.
Yes.
Burn me while I'm getting chopped up into bits.
I think I'm getting.
That would suck. How primitive we were back in medieval times.
Oh yeah, the torture devices. You know.
Yeah.
Was,
it's hot for the first 5 minutes, and then you start dying, and you're like, oh no, I've already nutted, and now I'm dying.
Now I'm dying.
This isn't.
Oh great, this is gonna last. This is gonna take a while.
Or would you just get wiped out by the Black Plague? Would you rather be executed back in the day, or just let the Black Plague just?
Oh, executed. Even though some of the executions took a little longer, but most of the time it was just a quick beheading.
Say there's, I would take guillotine for sure.
Oh, I would absolutely take the guillotine.
I forget the story of who is telling the story, but it's like a county fair, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was saying, "Oh, I knew this guy." Maybe the guy who was telling the story, he had his head and hands locked in that stockade, that kind of wooden. It's not a guillotine, but your wrists and your head are wedged in this wooden pallet, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And this kid, this little leaguer, like everybody gets to throw tomatoes at him.
Yeah.
And this guy's talking. He's like, you guys wiener arm, you can't do this. You're not hitting nothing. He said this kid just winds up and just launches this tomato and just splats just right in his nose. He thought he broke his nose, but this kid just
let him
destroys him with this tomato.
Oh, it's like the old dunk takes at the city fair.
Absolutely. And this, if I could do a shout out to, it's called Hardcore History of Dan Carlin. Amazing podcast. And he has one episode. It revolves around. Titles it Painful-tainment, and he talks about what it was, what the Roman gladiators were going through, or what executions were like back, say, in the French or English medieval times, or in those Noir days, where they're sentenced to get drawn and quartered, or beheaded, or hung. And they're walking down this cobblestone street, and people are cheering them on. It's a spectacle.
Yeah.
In the 1800s in the United States.
It's a movie. It's a movie in today's world.
It really is. So it's just as an ode to that podcast, I'd recommend when you're not listening to Trial and Error, listen to Hardcore History, because that is very insightful. And it's probably, if not the best podcast out there for historical accuracy, and just he takes you on a ride, man. The way he tells a story and the way
he's very talented at what he does.
Very much so. He's like the Johnny Sins of historical podcasts.
There you go.
Just it up, right? So, are you a Sith or a Jedi?
I'm gonna go with Jedi.
Good call. Good call. Another one-on-one naked combat question: Post Malone or Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Post Malone.
Absolutely. No snitch. What championship game would you streak at? Would it be soccer? Would it be the Super Bowl, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, Game 7 of the World Series, bowling perhaps? Where are you running naked? Where are you?
I'm going with El Clasico.
El Clasico?
Yeah.
That's
Real Madrid, Barcelona.
Really? That's just like is that the greatest rivalry in sports?
I would say so, on the basis of soccer is the most popular sport in the world.
Yeah, of course.
If you're going to go from that standpoint of which is going to be, the biggest rivalry. You're gonna have to go.
I would say that. Who wouldn't go to that?
Yeah, I mean, even non-sports fans draw to that game.
Yeah.
People who don't watch soccer watch that game.
When do you do it? Do you wait for later on in the match?
I do it during penalties.
During penalties, do you slide face first on the pitch? So your dong just scrape across that perfectly manicured grass, that lawn.
I'm going baseball slide.
Baseball slide forward. Are you safe or are you out?
Oh, I'm definitely safe.
Very good. All right, moving on. What is worse, the number 17 or the number 20?
Number 20. At least 17, I got a 7 in there.
But say the legal implications. Anything under 18 sucks.
Yeah.
But say for you personally.
Well, anything under 18 can technically be sealed up and hidden forever.
That's true.
You do it at 20, you're getting tried.
It can be murdered. It could be buried. Anything under 17.
You're getting tried as an adult at 20.
Very good. Harleys or crotch rockets?
Ooh.
You like the blah, 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 or the nyeh?
I mean, I think personally, like if I was gonna own one, I'd own a crotch rocket. Which ones I think are more badass? Oh, Harleys without a doubt. If I could pull off a Harley, I would. But I know me, and that's not my look. So
more crotch rocket.
I'm gonna go with the crotch rocket.
Not bad. Not bad. There's more than just Harley and there's like. No, there's only those two. Anyways.
Plus, I'd rather go fast.
You like to go fast.
He likes to go real fast.
Marjorie or Cersei?
Oh, Marjorie. Yeah. I mean, Cersei's great, but she was kind of a knockoff Keira Knightley.
She is, but just knowing that at any moment you could die, just knowing like, oh, I banged her, I'd probably die
She's
for a
probably
while.
gonna kill me for that.
True, but Marjorie by
Marjorie.
far the hottest woman in Thrones.
Ooh, it's definitely up there.
She's there. Well, more to talk about later in the Nerdcast. Yeah.
Bring it all full of lube.
All right. To just wrap this bad boy up, dude, we've been going at it for an hour and a half, bro. Doesn't even seem like it. Joe Rogan's like, oh, it's like a time warp in here. I get it. We just like when you're in the middle of a good conversation, just shooting the
You're just rocking and rolling.
Well, it's weird because this like podcast conversations I've come to find you're trying to budget. Okay, I want to talk about this for this much amount of time, and I have all these other things I want to talk about, but the original subject might go a little longer, or maybe there's a good, like you say something that's a great transition point to go into something else, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I want to still keep talking about golf. We could have talked golf for about 3 or 4 more hours.
Oh, we could have easily just kept this thing rolling. There's so many different talking points that we glossed over that we'll get back to that.
It's hard to, it's like you go past it and like deep down, like psychologically, I'm like, oh, I want to keep talking about it, but it's the conversation keeps going, and I guess that's one thing that I've learned a lot about like podcasting is just it's like you don't really control a conversation.
No,
it's it's really kind of very sociological of just how humans can interact and what we say and how that spurs different ideas or different topics of conversation.
It's very fluid. If you're looking at podcasts, a great way to look at it for me, anyways, is like it's water in a river. It's constantly flowing. But there's going to be times it's going to get hung up on a log. It's going to catch a bridge. It's going to run into a beaver dam. But eventually it's going to keep flowing in a direction. But it's going to get caught up on conversations. You don't know how long that specific part of water is going to stay in that thing. But eventually it's going to make its way over the objects and around it. And it's going to keep flowing down wherever it's going to go. But that's how I look at podcasts.
I love that metaphor, Travi. It reminds me of a Bruce Lee one where he says, just be like water. When water goes into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. When it goes into a pot, it becomes the pot. It goes into a cup, it becomes the cup. Just be water. Just go with this flow. And I kind of just piggybacking off this moving water metaphor, perfect for conversation, for how many different little creeks or different little spurs which water can go or how fast it goes. It's kind of like a metaphor for life as well. It's like there could be a sandbar or a dam in your way, but life just keeps coming. It could wash it away at any moment. So it's just be fluid. Yep. Be fluid, like liquid. It's so funny how we can come up with these. It's relevant. Even now in 2019, we could use water as a perfect metaphor, an example for how we're living life in this age where I could send you a picture of my left testicle through the air, through thin air to your phone.
Yeah.
Not like I've done that before, but just saying.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's just, I like that we're able to use these just water, fire, whatever we have in this world as a philosophy for life when we've advanced so far.
Oh, as a human nature, but then you think about like going back to primitive human beings, Roman times, even earlier, discovering fire. Water was something, move like water. Mm-hmm. And here thousands of years later, water is still just as relevant on this planet.
Dare I say important. I was doing some landscaping with my mom today, and like she put a hose down, and there's like a little leak coming out of the handle, and I'm just looking at these dripping like little drops of water. I'm like, this is our most precious resource. Our most precious resource is translucent. It's not green.
Yeah.
Right? And hopefully we figure that out one day, these funny humans that are, in charge. But last question, and it's important. It's a doozy. Who's better at sex, John Daly or Ric Flair?
Ric Flair.
Woo! There we go. You know what, Travi? That is probably the best way I could ever imagine a podcast ending. At an hour 34, unlike Ric Flair's wiener, we're wrapping it up. Travi, thank you for coming here. Is there any competitions, anything you want to shout out to all 5 people listen to this? We got Dylan A, we got Taylor Lim, we got me, and other, like, I'm trying to guilt trip more people because that's how advertising works. You make them feel really bad.
And then they do it.
You shame them, and then they do it. And they're like, wow,
I actually kind of liked it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to give a shout out to old Taylor Lim.
Taylor Lim.
We started at the old landfill together, same day, and it was
You guys started on the same day?
Same day.
Back when he had a soul. He had no soul.
He had no soul. But we had a lot of fun. A lot of great conversations. A lot of lunchbox style conversations.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That'll be another
person to add to the Nerdcast.
Well, excuse me. I'll have him on one day, but the way I have to pull that off, I have to wait till he gets off of work one day and then set it up in the office.
Yep.
I'd love to have him, possibly Diggler, even Farva, or you, just and give people an idea of what it's like to work at the landfill.
Oh, I think it would be great.
Sure, not every landfill operates as sexually driven as the Yellow County landfill, but just to give an idea of that lifestyle, that environment, it is a hoot.
It is a blast. So, yeah, I'd like to give Taylor a shout-out. Hope everything's going well. Hope the family's going well.
Hey!
For everybody else out there, play more golf.
Play more golf. Suck less toes. Suck your own toes.
Different strokes for different folks.
Indeed. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
You lose. Good day, sir.